Imagine waking up at 6 a.m. to find your HOA literally sawing through your waterline, sparks flying, pipes screaming, and their president smiling like she just won a war. What she didn't know: every drop of water in her million-dollar home flowed through pipes I controlled. Picture this: it's 6 a.m. on a Tuesday morning. I'm sipping my coffee when I hear the screech of metal tearing through pipe. Sparks fly across my gravel driveway. Some HOA goon is out there with a reciprocating saw, literally trying to cut my waterline in half. And who's supervising? Veronica Brightwell, the HOA president, clipboard queen, and professional nightmare. She's standing there in her suit, filming it like she just won a war. What she didn't know: that rustic cabin guy she was trying to bully had spent 40 years designing the water systems for this entire county. That every single drop of water flowing into her $800,000 McMansion passed through pipes I legally controlled. And right there, I realized Veronica had just made the biggest mistake of her life. Now let me back up. 3 months earlier, I was living the retirement dream at my lakeside cabin. This place was more than wood and nails. It's where I scattered my late wife Martha's ashes, where morning loons called across the mist. It was home. Enter Veronica Brightwell. Imagine the most entitled person you've ever met, then multiply by 10. She ran the Whisper Lake HOA like her personal kingdom. BMW parked across 2 spaces, clipboard glued to her hand like it was scripture, and rules for everything, from mailbox height to bird feeders. At my very first HOA meeting, she locked onto me like a hawk spotting prey. Called my cabin rustic like it was a crime. Within weeks, she slapped me with $5,000 in bogus fines for water violations and threatened to cut off my utilities. But I wasn't about to be pushed out. She had no idea she just poked the wrong sleeping bear. Veronica went all in on harassment. She sent fake inspectors to install useless flow meters on my well. She spread rumors that I was draining the aquifer. She even held an emergency meeting while I was out of town, painting me as some villain threatening the community's water supply. But here's the thing: I wasn't just some retiree. I knew water law. My cabin was built in 1963, long before the HOA even existed. Which meant I wasn't legally bound to their covenants at all. I proved it with county documents, and still, she doubled down. Then the universe handed me the ultimate trump card. Digging through old survey maps, I found it. My deed included perpetual easement rights. Translation: the main water line serving all 47 HOA houses, including Veronica's McMansion, ran straight through my property. And I controlled it. Every faucet, every shower, every sprinkler in Whisper Lake Estates depended on me. Veronica wanted to cut my water? Ha! I literally controlled hers. Now, I could have shut off their water out of spite. But 40 years in public service taught me something: real power is about responsibility. So instead, I planned a lesson she'd never forget. Veronica called a huge HOA meeting to finalize enforcement against me. She invited local officials, reporters, even a TV crew, thinking she'd humiliate me publicly. The room was packed, 86 people waiting for the showdown. She gave her victory speech, then signaled her handyman to cut off my water right there in front of everyone. That's when I stood up, calm as could be, and laid out my documents on the table. County records, survey maps, and easement laws proving I controlled their entire water system. The silence was electric. Then I dropped the bomb. On Monday, I'll be conducting a 72-hour inspection. Which means all your water gets shut off, legally. You could have heard a pin drop. Even the county water authority rep stood up and confirmed everything I said. Cameras flashed, neighbors gasped, and Veronica? She looked like she'd just seen a ghost. That night was the end of Veronica's reign. Neighbors who'd been bullied for years finally spoke up. Veterans, retirees, young families, all sharing stories of her harassment. By the time the sheriff revealed she'd been filing false complaints for years, her career as HOA dictator was over. Within 48 hours, she resigned. The community elected new leadership, passed fair bylaws, and rebuilt trust. I even led a project to modernize our water system, saving every household hundreds of dollars a year. And to honor Martha, I started a scholarship for local students in water engineering. Now, instead of HOA drama, we have potlucks, festivals, and real neighborly support. Property values went up, not because of Veronica's rules, but because people wanted to live where respect mattered. And me? I'm back on my dock every morning, coffee in hand, watching the sunrise, grateful that one HOA tyrant's arrogance turned into a lesson in community power. So, here's my question to you. What would you do if your HOA tried to pull something like this? Drop your story in the comments, and don't forget to hit subscribe. Because next week, I'll tell you about the time my neighbor tried to steal my driveway using adverse possession. Trust me, it's even crazier than this one. So the next time an HOA bully comes for you, remember, knowledge is power, and sometimes the quietest neighbor is the one holding the master valve to the whole community. Drop your own HOA horror story in the comments, smash that like button, and hit subscribe, because next week's story about my neighbor trying to steal my driveway makes this one look tame.